Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank Be Chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, we're actually going to be doing somewhat of a transformation on this haircut tutorial. We're going to be doing a number 5 on top, like a mid-drop fade, and we're going to add some enhancements, light up the beard, you know what I'm saying, doing everything we got to do to make sure that the client comes out of here looking good. So I'm taking my low pro clipper from Babyliss, and I have my number 5 on the clipper, and I'm going over the top. However, as y'all can see, I'm leaving that hair in the front, in the bang area, basically where his hairline is at, because I didn't want to take that too short. He normally leaves his top long, and I didn't want to take it too short in the front at first, and I didn't know how his hairline looked, you know, underneath the hair that we normally leave. So I wanted to leave it a little longer at first, which I did. I went over it with the 6, but then we ended up talking, and I think I went back and went over it with the 5.5. So here is me going over the front with the 6, and once I showed it to him, it just didn't look the way we both wanted it to look. So we made a decision to go ahead and knock that down slightly shorter, and he was fine with his hairline, you know what I'm saying? He really wasn't making a big deal about it. He wasn't like trying to say we need to preserve it, even though obviously I know we're trying to, but it wasn't something we really had to keep too long to make sure that we left a nice hairline. So now that that is done, what I'm doing here is I'm taking my number 4 guard, debulking the sides, and the reason why I do this is it makes it easier for me to fade into a number 4 instead of having to fade into whatever number I did on top. So whatever number I do on the top doesn't even matter. I always debulk the sides with that number 4 guard. That way I know I need to fade into a number 4. So now I'm taking my low pro trimmer, and what I'm doing here is all I'm doing is setting in my bald guideline. So as y'all can see, I'm starting where the C-cut meets the vertical bar, and then I'm coming and I'm dropping it down in the back below the occipital bone, obviously because we're doing a drop fade, and then I'm gonna match it to the C-cup and vertical bar on the opposite side. And I normally leave a little bit of hair where the C-cup is, but I decided not to because he didn't have really a strong of a C-cup, so I decided we're gonna go ahead and just bald that completely out and fade that all the way up. Now I'm taking my Babyliss FX2 shaver, and I'm getting the sides all the way down to skin. And the reason why we're doing this is obviously it lasts a little longer, and in my opinion it looks better. And the closer we get to that initial bald guideline, I'm making sure that I use a slight flick out motion, and I'm relieving a little bit of pressure with that shaver against the scalp. That way it doesn't leave a harsh line. Alright guys, so now we're moving on to the actual fade work. So I'm taking my low pro clipper once again. I have my lever all the way open, and I'm setting in my next guideline, and I'm coming up about 3/4 of an inch or so, maybe half an inch, maybe 3/4. You know, I don't got my ruler or my measuring tape with me, but as y'all can see, I am using a slight flick out motion, setting in that guideline the same shape that I set in my previous guideline. And that's really gonna help keep this fade where I need it. It's gonna help keep it a little higher towards the front of the fade, and then drop down in the back. And then now I close my lever all the way, and what I'm doing is I'm coming up just a little bit, just really tapping at that line, barely bringing this line up a little bit, and I'm using a slight flick out motion. That way I really don't have to fade too much, but as you see me do right there, I did adjust my lever halfway open, and now I'm coming up about halfway into this section, and I'm just cleaning all this up, still using that flick out motion. That way I don't leave any harsh lines. And then after this, you're gonna see me do some lever play, really just try to make this blend come together. And you want to make sure that you're using that brush, guys. It helps brush away any extra debris, any hair that's right there in the faded area. You can brush away with that brush. That way you can actually see how that blend is coming out. So now I'm going in with my number 1 guard lever open, doing the same thing that I previously did, following the same shape that I previously created, making sure that I drop it down in the back. And once again, guys, we are going to be coming up about 3/4 of an inch or so, using that slight flick out motion. And then what I'm gonna do after this, I'm gonna close my lever all the way, and I'm gonna attack the bottom of this section. And I know this isn't gonna get the line out completely. All it's really gonna do is soften it. I'm gonna have to go back in with my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard and clean that section up. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, guys. I have my 1/16 guard on there, or my 0 guard, whatever you want to call it, half guard. And I normally go in with my lever halfway open, and as you can see, I'm just cleaning up where that line is at, and then I'm adjusting my lever little by little as needed to make sure that this blend comes together. Sometimes you'll have to adjust it open, sometimes you'll have to adjust it closed. It really just depends on the hair texture and how the hair is blending together. So now this is my 1.5 guard. Once again, guys, setting in my next guideline, making sure that I'm following that same shape using a slight flick out motion. And once this guideline is put in there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close my lever and I'm gonna start attacking the bottom line in this section. And a lot of times the one open to the 1.5 guard doesn't fade in 100%. So sometimes you have to go back and detail it, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on after this step, move on to my next step, and I'll detail it later on in the cut. So this is actually my number 3 guard lever open. And the reason why it's a number 3 guard is because I already know that I debulked the sides with a number 4. So I'm going in with my number 3 open, just trying to basically do some down fading or what I like to call sandwiching the blend. So 3 open right below where I went with the number 4 guard, and then 3 closed right below what I did with that 3 open. And as y'all can see, this blend is already starting to come together, already looking pretty blurry. Obviously, I still got some more steps to do. This is my number 2 guard lever open, still doing that down fading technique, lever open, coming up right below what I do with my 3 closed, and then I'm gonna close my lever and come right below that. And as y'all can see, this blend's already coming together. Yes, there is discrepancies. Yes, I'm gonna have to go back and detail it and refine it a little more. But for the most part, we're basically getting just a good foundation of what I'm trying to do. So this is my 0.5 guard. I decided to go back to my 0.5 guard instead of my 1 guard because there were some discrepancies that I wanted to clean up with a half guard, and I didn't feel that I needed to use the 1 guard yet. So I went back to my 0.5 guard, and as you can see, I'm cleaning it up, detailing, refining it a little, just trying to get it to come together. And then that helped me see some more of the discrepancies that I needed to clean up and fix with my number 1 guard. And as y'all can see here, I am corner blending. You want to make sure you're corner blending, guys, when you're detailing. It helps just really be more precise with what you're trying to detail. So we're moving on to the front lineup. As y'all can see, I have my trimmer in my hand. I'm gonna go ahead and start off in the middle of my client's forehead, set in my first guideline, and then I'm gonna work my way over all the way into that vertical bar. And then we're gonna keep brushing the hair down because as you can see, his hair wanted to like stick up. So what you can do is you can actually spray the front with some hairspray, comb it down. And a lot of times, guys, I go over the front edge up a lot more than what y'all see in the videos. In the videos, y'all just see me go over it like 1 time. Sometimes I go over it like 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it's nice and straight. And remember, guys, when you're doing lineups, you want to take your time. You want to take your time for the whole haircut. But when it comes to doing lineups, I feel that that's one of the most important parts of the haircuts. So take your time, don't rush. Just make sure you give your client a nice straight edge up. Take your time and just do what you got to do to make sure that lineup is nice and straight. And then what I'm doing here is I'm going back and I'm trying to get rid of that bottom line that I left with the shaver. And I'm cleaning all that up with my trimmer. And now after this, I decided I need to go back and do some more detail work. Every time after I line up my client in the front, guys, I go back and detail. For whatever reason, once you put that picture in the frame, once you do the framework on this haircut, it helps bring out them discrepancies, helps bring out any dark areas, any lines, anything that needs to be refined and touched up. It helps bring that out. So that's why I always like to line up my client and then go back and clean up and do some cleanup work. And I want y'all to know that your boy has been using the low pro clippers again a lot. I did switch out the blade. I put the fusion blade on the clipper, and I'm really liking it right now, man. And that's the clipper that I've been using a lot since I did that. But back to this haircut, as you can see, I'm just fading in the beard. I went in with my number 1 guard lever open, then closed. Now clipper open, then closed. And then I'm gonna start to blend this beard down. This is my number 4 guard. And we're just cleaning everything up. And then I'm doing a 1.5 on the mustache. I always do a 1.5 on the mustache unless my client specifically asks me to do anything different. But 9 times out of 10, I do a 1.5 on the mustache. And as y'all can see here, I'm just lining up behind the beard. We want to keep basically what he has. We're not trying to make it any thinner. So I'm just really trying to refine these lines, or refine the top line in this beard. Make sure that it's nice and cleaned up, nice and straight. Make sure these lines look crisp. Just trying to make sure that this beard looks really nice. And then at the bottom, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna clean up what he has and try to make that nice and straight also. And remember guys, even when you line up the beard, you want to make sure you're using a brush. That way you can brush off the extra hair and brush the hair down, because a lot of times when you're doing a beard, when you tap it a little bit with the trimmer, some of that hair wants to curl up or get pushed up. So you want to make sure you keep brushing that hair down. That way it lays where it's naturally supposed to lay. And then in the middle part right here, he didn't have too much hair, so I just cleaned up the little wild hairs that were right there. So now I'm moving on to the opposite side of my client's head. I did not record me fading in this side of the head, but I did record the edge for you. So as y'all can see, I started off in the middle of the head, basically where I left off on the opposite side, and then I'm working my way to the left or to the right of my client's head, and I'm just trying to mirror what I did on the opposite side. And then we're doing the same exact thing with the beard, that number 4, and then we're gonna fade it in and then line it up also. Remember guys, if you're interested in any of these tools, I'm using nothing but Babyliss tools in this video. You can actually go to BabylissPro.com. You can use my discount code TANK10, save yourself a little bit of money. Like I said, I've been using these low pros a lot, and I like them with that fusion blade. I like them with the fade blade, but I decided to put that fusion blade on it, and it's been working really good for me. So I've been doing that. And also guys, as y'all can see, I'm using Tune 45 power clips. That's what I use to keep my tools charged. So if you're interested in copying a Tune 45 power clip, you can go to Tune45.com and use my discount code TANK. Remember guys, I have the links in my description, so y'all make sure to check that out. Now we're moving on to the back side of the client's fade. You want to make sure that you're still following that same shape while you're fading in the back. A lot of times people want to bring that back up higher, and you don't want to bring it up higher. You want to keep that same shape. That way you get that nice drop fade effect that we're looking for. And we're going to be doing the exact same steps in case you're curious. You know, I went in with my lever open, faded that down. Number 1 for the next guideline, faded that down. This is my 0 guard, fading that down, trying to get that line out. And then I'm going to go up to my 1.5 guard. Set in my next guideline, fade that down, and then use my 3 and my 2. You know, like I said guys, basically the same exact thing that I did on the left side and what I did on the right side. I tend to do the same steps when I'm doing my clients' haircuts. You can change it up, you know, sometimes I do, I'm not gonna lie. But if you do the same steps, sometimes it gives you a little more consistency, and it makes the blend come out a little more consistent. But I understand why people change their steps. Sometimes certain things don't fade the way you want it to fade, so you have to rethink your strategy and rethink what you're trying to do, and you have to use different steps sometimes, and that's totally fine guys. You just got to do what you got to do to make sure that that blend comes together nicely, and you have just a nice finished product. Alright, so I did apply some shave gel on my client. Now what I'm doing is we're moving on to the razor work. So as you can see, I have my client laid back, and I'm using that razor to really get these lines nice and sharp. Really just try to get everything down the razor. That way these lines really pop. And then y'all know how your boy does it, man. I'm finna go up another level. I'm finna add some enhancements after this and really make these lines pop even more, and just really take this haircut to the next level. And in my opinion, he doesn't really need it, because as y'all can see, that blend is there. Y'all can see those lines look nice. But I just want to use them enhancements really just to enhance this haircut and just make it look a little better. Remember guys, when you're doing that razor work, you want to make sure to stretch that skin. That way you lessen the chance of nicking your client. I always say that in all my videos, because I think that's something that's a good tip for every barber, whether they've been doing this for years or whether they're brand new to barbering. You stretch that skin and you try to pull that skin as tight as possible. That way you lessen the chance of nicking your client. But as y'all can see, this haircut's coming together. It's looking good in my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think so far. Let me know what y'all thought of my steps and the way I attacked this fade. If you would have attacked it different, let me know, man. Let me know in the comments. And then as you can see here, I'm just working on the top of my client's haircut, or the top hairline in with the razor work. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But now I'm going in with my no drip from Tune 45. I got my Sean Cuts Hair Enhancement card, and I'm adding these enhancements just to take this to the next level. And I believe I am going to stack this with hair fibers. I'm not 100% sure. Honestly, I don't remember. But I just give a few sprays, guys, and then I move that card to see how that line is looking, and blah, blah, blah. And as y'all can see, I'm not spraying too much to where it looks fake. I'm just really trying to darken them lighter areas, darken any parts that are weak in this lineup, and just really try to make them strong and just pop a little more. So yeah, I'm going in with some hairspray, and then I'm gonna go back in with some hair fibers, really just doubling up on these hair enhancements or stacking these hair enhancements, whatever you want to call it. And I like to do that because I feel that it gives it a nice finished look, and I just think hair fibers look a little more natural than using the paint. So as you can see, I did lock those hair fibers in with that hairspray, and then I'm cleaning up that hairline with my trimmers one more time. And as y'all can see, them lines look super sharp. And then I'm gonna hit them with the razor one more time just to get that super sharp finished, and that super sharp finish. I don't know why my words are all over the place today, but yeah, man, it's looking pretty good. But y'all check it out. Gave my client the mirror. He said it looked good. So check it out, guys. This is how my client came into the shop looking. This is the before look, and this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember, guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area and you want a haircut from your boy, you can go to my website, takemechopping.com. You can book there. Also, if you want a discount with any of my tools that I'm using, you can click them links that I have in my description. Use my discount codes right next to what the link is. I have the discount code right next to it. And that's basically it, YouTube. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go. You.